Welcome back, guys. Thanks for coming. I just made my first ever, rookie YouTuber mistake, and I filmed probably maybe a 30-minute video. And turned out I didn't film anything at all. I never hit the record button. Apparently, I don't know what happened, but yikes. But hey, back to the drawing board. This is episode 5 of the Tuesday Tune-In. And what I realized filming, talking to myself for half an hour, was that this is if you haven't seen this before, the Tune-In, pause it now, go watch the last 4. This is an episodic series, so if you haven't seen the other 4, none of this is going to make any sense. I'm just kidding about that, but I think going forward, that is how we're going to do it. And I'll kind of give you, it'll be a little more focused on the meditation. Because if you haven't meditated before, this can be, it's only going to be 10 minutes. You don't have to do the whole thing. You can skip ahead. But we'll start doing 10-minute sessions with a focal point, a main idea. I'll chat a little bit in the beginning, we'll do the meditation, we'll chat a little at the end, and then you go about your day. And it's just a nice way to, I should take a little water before I keep clearing my throat. The reason it's called the tune-in is because we tune in to that highest frequency. And I know you might ask, well, what are you talking about frequency? Like, what is that? You've felt it before. Some people call it like the zone. Some people call it almost, maybe this is what they mean when they say like a flow state. Or maybe you've just had these experiences where you're just in complete awe of life and the beauty of the world. And, you have a really strong appreciation for the life that you have and for the people in your life. And we're trying to tune in sort of to that type of feeling and not allow ourselves, by getting more in touch with that frequency. When we are pulled away from it, it will become more clear to us, and we'll stop settling for these lower frequencies, and we will continue to strive for this higher frequency. And even the most mundane aspects of life become beautiful when you can get in touch, when you're tuned in. So I have an interesting practice planned today. This is something I came up with myself when I was working at one of my first jobs, probably 20 years old, right before the pandemic started. What I started to notice working at this job were I became a manager. It was sort of a restaurant type of thing. There were a few other managers, but 2 mainly were just goofballs. Just people that were like, didn't take the job super seriously, but they didn't take life seriously. And not just like taking it for granted, I guess, but almost like just discard, like having no, placing no value on their own life. So just a bad attitude, basically. And so they'd be late to work, and maybe sometime, it'd always be something. And me and a couple other managers would always have to pick up the slack. And being in these types of jobs, gossip starts. You start negative conversations, negative thoughts in your mind, and it's going to basically, we've talked about this before on the channel. There's three types of action. There's mental action, there's verbal action, and there's physical action. And those verbal and physical actions are always a result of that mental action, for the most part. I'm talking about like conscious actions. So by having these negative thoughts and negative conversations, I felt like that sort of anger, and not so much like, I wouldn't go as far as to say hatred, but definitely a resentment and just like an aversion to them. And yeah, I don't like feeling that separateness with people where you're just, yeah, it's, and I've said this and I'll keep saying this, like, those feelings are your burden to bear. But when they come out through your actions, then you're actually influencing the space around you negatively. So that's another reason we tune in. So I started to become aware of this, and I realized, like, wow, this isn't good. I have, yeah, sort of negative feelings towards these people, and I spend so much time with them. We worked 40 hours a week together, every week pretty much, and yeah, I just didn't. I wasn't gonna settle for it, basically, and so I started this practice that we'll do tonight. And I just sort of did this a second ago, but ready for round two. I want you to think about people in your life who you have negative feelings towards. And it's not going to be easy. You don't have to go for the big one if you have that person. You don't have to, but it might be a good idea. It will probably bring up some negative, or might bring up some memories and some feelings, but I encourage you to think about those things and try to look past them. Like, look for the humanity, that life in that person that goes beyond their personality and even their actions. Sometimes, maybe you've thought of this too. Like, I think of a person as a newborn baby, and then whatever they went through, all those experiences, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, to where we see them today. They've had a whole life, and it's shaped them the way that they are. And, whether they actually, like, have wronged us or really negatively affected us, or we just fundamentally, like, don't align with them, or see eye to eye with them, that is, again, it's just not something you want to carry around with you. And some people might think, like, oh, I can hate whoever I want, or it's okay not to like people, and I can be fine with that. I'm not saying you have to, like, be friends with them, but negative feelings towards people, just, it's not good for you. So the practice is basically to take someone who, I'll put it into one sentence. Like, you take someone you hate and you try to love them. And it doesn't have to be hate, but it's just, it's an easy way to think about it. And again, I'll do this for 10 minutes. This is kind of different than maybe some that we did before, where if you want to just, like, lay down or sit in a chair or do whatever you got to do, or like, you don't have to be too strict with your positions and movements and stuff. But I'm going to start this up, 10 minutes. I don't know if you can catch that on camera or not. All right, there we go. Enjoy. Alrighty, guys. Yeah, it was, I don't know, I thought I had a lot of interesting thoughts. I guess I'll start with, I've gotten to this place ever since I started the channel where I've really started providing a love for myself that I was always seeking from other people. And since that, wound has been healed, so to speak, or that need has been satisfied, you could say, I find myself thinking far less about what other people think about me. But what I've just come to understand is that I care so much about what other people think, but I just don't care what they think about me as much anymore. But that doesn't mean, like I said, I still care so much about what other people think. So I think a lot of people get to this point where they're like, oh, I don't care what other people think about me. So maybe I've gotten there, but I definitely care a lot about what other people think. Now, what do I mean by that? It's not, well, this isn't my feeling right now, but just think about for others, like someone who's really devoted to a political party or a religion. They have a natural, motivation to want people to think like them. So I guess I came to this realization because I realized that a lot of the people that I had negative feelings towards, and it's really one main person for me that I was thinking about, but I kind of made my peace with, or I reminded myself of the peace that I've made with this person in the past. And then I started cycling through a bunch of different random people. But what I realized is a lot of what I didn't like about them, or like put me off to them, turn me off from them, is their attitude and the way that they thought about life. So that was and a good thing for me to recognize. Part of the value in doing this is by making our peace with these people we have negative feelings towards. We just open ourselves up to loving more easily and looking past those things that kind of separate us from each other and seeing ourselves in another. There's a YouTube short of mine that you should check out. I was swimming in this bay by my grandma's house, and I was swimming around, and I felt something, and I looked, and there was this little green beetle floating in the water, and it was trying to swim, but it was drowning basically. And I got it on my finger, and I walked back to shore, and it started drying itself off, like pushing, getting the water off of its antennas. You'll see it in the YouTube short. It's one of the first ones I posted. And I swear, I just could see myself in the beetle. That will to live was just like mine. And that feeling can be achieved, I think, with all life. So what we're going to do next week, I've thought about all this while, in the last 10 minutes, is we're going to think on, or meditate on the idea of not just love for those people that we had negative feelings towards. Hopefully we've opened our idea opened our mind, to the idea that we can make our peace with those people. Once that's possible, then the visualization of having a abundant and just endlessly available love emanating from you for all life on the planet and the planet itself. That's something I want you to be able to visualize and to wish for and dream about. This complete and total harmony among all of the plants and the insects and animals and, you know, you and I and our neighbors and everyone on the planet, is that their needs are being satisfied. I believe in that idea. I believe it's possible. And, you know, what gets in the way of that? Hatred, anger, resentments, greed, jealousy, these types of things. These lower frequencies that we're just not going to settle for. We're going to tune in to the highest frequency. Not just on Tuesdays. So I guess I'll leave it off there. Yeah, not much more I gotta say, but I said I was gonna go live at midnight, and I decided to just film this. But I think I will go on there. So maybe you'll see me. Alrighty, love you guys.